Are you a newly retired single woman or man, I guess? Are you thinking of retiring? Has Panama been on your radar? How are you feeling right now? Are you concerned? Are you thinking that maybe I need to rethink my plan? Let's have a chat. Hey, uh, how are you guys doing? I have been retired a little bit over 3 years, the last two being in Panama with a short stint in South Africa for the 3 months that I was with the Peace Corps. And let me tell you, life was great. And then all of a sudden, a drastic shift, change that has gotten most of us wondering what is going on. There is a lot of uncertainty and trepidation. So, I want to have a chat with you today about as you are retired or a newly retired person like myself or thinking about retirement. I just want you to start thinking about some things that might impact your retirement. Not to be doom and gloom, not to be an alarmist like the sister rightly pointed it, but I also believe in being aware. And I always talk about the power of shifting. So let's have a conversation today about some of the outside influences, geopolitical, financial threats that might affect us as retirees. So that's the conversation today. Just as a reintroduction, my name is Maggie. I am a retired nurse practitioner, and I have been retired in Panama for 2 years. Just recently had my second anniversary. And I'm actually currently in the States and getting some business taken care of. But because I'm a thinker and I don't like to be hit upside the head unaware, that's why I'm having this conversation. It is in no way going to mean to scare you, but I'm transparent and I like to share what I see in the future, possibly. Nobody's sure of what might happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but I believe in being in the best position that I can be as we weather the storm. And I am also the creator of SWRA. I forgot to mention that. Single Women Retiring Abroad, my baby. And my goal for SWRA is still the same. That has not changed. But the current situation warrants a conversation about what could be coming at us and how do we prepare. You ready? Okay. Now, for the two people who are always in my comments saying, get with the program, get to the point, you might want to click off right now because I am not a bullet type of speaker. I like to frame what I want to talk about. So if that causes you discomfort, please click away. I'm just telling you. No hard feelings, no hard feelings. Okay. I retired to Panama a couple of years ago after doing my due diligence, going to different places, and really feeling a connection to the country. Even after I recently got fined $1,000, Panama, I still love you. Te amo, te quiero. That is not going to change. I wish you could have slashed that fine a little bit because it was steep. But anyway, water under the bridge, right? So a lot of us spend a lot of time and energy with research, spending money on scouting trips, going on relocation tours to find our spot, the spot that we feel is going to make the difference, where we're going to live the rest of our days in peace. Well, peace is elusive, isn't it? I guess I should be grateful that I had 2 years. But I don't usually panic. I'm not the kind of person that's going to be like this about things. I am a rational thinking individual, and I'm a planner. And I'm also very aware of what's around me. Okay. So I speak to a lot of people, I watch a lot of videos, and I'm not usually swayed by a lot of things, a lot of external factors, right? But when you're in a position where you don't have many options, when all the decision making has been stripped away from you, you kind of at the mercy of the circumstances. And we know how divided in opinion the whole public sector is. You know, I can say A, this one says B. And it seems almost impossible for us to come together, to come to the middle. Oh, you notice my background. I'm in my cousin's house. She got such a lovely house. But I'm just spoiled. You know, she's at work and I'm here enjoying all this beauty all by myself. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you, because Auntie, I never know what to call her, but there's a lot of love going on between us. So, but as we, go into Panama, working on SWRA, creating sisterhood, trying to build communities, trying to get the feel for the soul of the country and how things are done. And let me tell you, we were doing good. And to my sisters out there, part of SWRA, you know how much I love you. And you guys, I love, 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 love the community we are creating. And I'm not saying we're not going to continue doing that. Listen to that, sis. But you have to agree that there is a sense of instability. But I don't think this is unique to our society. There is a lot of uncertainty all over the globe. And we, you have to agree, have been in a privileged situation, regardless of all the stuff that has been thrown at us as a society, as an ethnic group. Regardless, we have chosen to count our blessings and to make decisions based on those blessings that the Lord has bestowed upon us for years. Because everybody, not everybody, a lot of people have gotten it worse than we have. Let's just take a minute and think around the world, okay? But our sense of our little cocoon of happiness, of retired bliss, is in danger right now. And I don't know if you're feeling the vibration. I don't care what kind of socio-economic, well, maybe not, I don't care. But unless you're in the top 5%, the rest of us do feel a sense of insecurity as to what might and could happen. Okay. And again, when you're trying to prepare for the eventuality of something major happening, you just do the best you can to put yourself in the best position you can. That doesn't mean you're going to be shielded from all of it. Just understand that. So that sense of instability, the constant sense of not being safe, that's still an issue, right? A feeling of being fearful, that is still present. But as a retired group, remember, you're my audience. You are my single older ladies. As a single person, you always already feel a sense of vulnerability because it's just you, right? Looking out for yourself. There is nobody else looking out for you. Now, those of you who have kids who are very protective and can provide for you, you are blessed and we applaud that. But a lot of us don't have that. Okay. So I'm thinking of the single older woman who is kind of alone and trying to craft a life for herself in her later years. I'm talking to you. Okay. So if you're like me, I know you're feeling that sense of, oh my gosh, now what? What could happen? All right. As you guys know, a lot of us are in Panama receiving or living off of our Social Security checks, right? We work 40, 30 years and we are owed that money. We paid into it. It is not charity, right? That is at risk. Whether I'm not being political at all, and I don't want to bring any name. I'm not doing any of that with this video. But Social Security has always been at risk. Lots of previous administrations have threatened to cut it because of the factors I mentioned in previous videos, that birth rates being down, not enough people paying into it, that is unsustainable, the longevity issue, we're living longer, therefore the government's going to have to pay us a lot longer. So the coffer is just shrinking. And, the experts, the economists are saying it is not sustainable. We're going to have to do something, okay? But as a large group of, okay, I got to watch out. As a large group of aged individual, we have always seen ourselves as maybe a group with a little bit of power. Not anymore. Okay, not anymore. So if you had that notion, I want you to kind of take it off, right? Because now it's like laid bare. Everybody is vulnerable because you have a group of people making decisions that could affect your livelihood and how you're going to live the rest of your 20, 30 plus years. It does not pay for you to stick your head in the sand or say, the Lord will provide for me. The Lord has blessed you with the thinking mind for you to think forward and make decisions. So the number one thing I want you to think about right now is that if, and that's a big if, you depend on Social Security alone, that if anything happens to that program, which we don't know, we hope not, but there might be cuts. I'm not saying it's going to disappear, I don't think, but then again, I don't have a crystal ball that it's going to just be snap. I don't know, I hope not. But there is a big possibility it could be cut. By what? By how much? I have no clue. But you need to assess your situation, sis, to see if that happens, how is that going to affect you in your retirement in Panama, enjoying your beautiful apartments and all the amenities. Okay? We also have said, I have said in some videos that, and even the experts have told you, you should not rely 100% on Social Security in retirement because they've known the threats to that program. Medicare could change too. I just moved from traditional Medicare to Medicare Advantage. Anything can happen. And then one thing I want to say as number two, the first one is to be aware of the possible threats, right? Number two, I'm not an alarmist. I don't sit at night wide awake worrying about the what ifs, what could, what couldn't. I'm not an alarmist, and I don't want you to panic. What I want you to do with this video is to open your eyes and start thinking and assess your situation, where you are right now financially. What would happen if something happens? That doesn't mean you are, we're spreading gloom and doom. That is not what we're trying to do. And I'm not like that. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. But at the same time, I'm not oblivious. Like I see a lot of people who just keep swallowing everything that's being said. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay, think for yourself. Detach yourself from the environment and see what is happening on the horizon, not just in your little circle, globally. There are things that are happening locally, and there are things that are happening regionally. There are things happening globally. Nobody's an island anymore. What happens over here might have an effect, happen over there, might have an effect over here. Okay? You need to start thinking broadly. So, number 2, I say don't panic. Number 3, I'm going to say assess and prepare. Threats are coming from all over, to your Social Security, to Medicare. What's another threat? Geopolitical. What's happening? How is it going to affect where you are right now? Our beautiful, lovely, loved Panama is embroiled in a geopolitical situation. We don't know. We all hope and pray that everything can be resolved, right? But again, we are in no position to affect the decisions. The decisions are in the hands of those who have the power. We don't have any say. We just need to be aware of what might, what could, and be in a position to shift rather quickly. Very important. Okay? So as you try to be aware politically, from a financial standpoint, you need to commit yourself to educating yourself by reading articles, listening to podcasts, people who are making predictions. Not that you take 100% at face value, remember that. But just understand that decisions that were made 20 years ago are affecting you now, will affect you later. Decisions that are being made today will affect you tomorrow and the 10, 15, 20 years, and your kids and grandkids. Let's face it, that's the way the world functions. So what do we do as retirees? We have people who are retired in Mexico, Panama, all over South America, in Europe, in Asia. The world is just such an unstable place right now. So as I say, don't panic. I need you to also understand that every region has their own challenges, okay? So what you do is minimize the risk, but you keep moving forward. If you're in Panama, we want to be aware of what's happening, but we don't need to panic. What is that going to do? It's not going to do any good. But should you be unaware, totally oblivious? No, it's not the right thing to do. So what do we do? What are we supposed to do to put ourselves in a more positive position? Okay? I said about crafting a new retirement plan. Well, my plan, I worked my plan. I implemented my plan. But every plan can also be amended, right? Okay. So I talked about Social Security. If you are 100% dependent on Social Security and based on the amount of your Social Security, you need to put yourself in a situation where you can withstand a cut to your Social Security. So a way for you to be proactive would be to really reduce your expenses and kind of get down to, let's say, imagine if they took away 20, 30% of your Social Security, would you be able to make it work? And what would that look like? You might have to downsize to a cheaper apartment, cut back on going out to eat with the friends and all the things that you were doing. If you are totally dependent on Social Security. But what we have always said is that, like I'm repeating that, you should not depend on that alone. So maybe your house is rented in the US and you're getting rental income. That's a good strategy. Maybe you have another little pension. Let's say you were a teacher, you have your pension and your Social Security. If there is a cut to your Social Security, can you make it work with merging the two? You would be in a better position than a lot of us, right? The other thing you might consider is to look at the money that you might have and become an active investor so you can make a few more coins, right? So people like from Lack to Legacy and Halisi and Rick in Portugal, they are really into the financial sector. Start listening to those folk. Yesterday, I was listening to one of their videos and they were giving names of EFTs to consider to invest your money so you can get a little bit more, return. Because we are going to need to make more money if there is a cut over here. Okay. And if you sold your home, the proceed, try to start investing it. Try investing it, not in really crazy stocks and stuff, but be very conservative, but still, so you can get a few dollars extra every month. What else could you do? How about trying to get a little side job, a little side hustle? A lot of us, we have extra skills. This is the time for you to start thinking, well, maybe I can use that knowledge that I have acquired over decades. You're not going to make millions or thousands. I don't know. I don't think so. But can you teach online? A lot of people are doing relocation support. And I think somebody was mentioning that that is something that is needed in one of the Facebook pages. But remember, with your pensionado visa in Panama, you may not be able to. So talk to your attorney about how you could make some extra money. I was talking to, I've said that to many people in Panama. I'm like, oh, I would love to start a little cafe. And I'm like, oh, Maggie, you can't work. And do you really want to work this hard? Then I might have to switch my mindset that said I'm not going to be working anymore to saying, well, I have to work now. But see, I'm not against that. I'm not against that. If there is anything I can do to make some extra coins because I'm in a position that I need to, trust me, I will do it because I'm a workhorse. I've been working since I was 19. So I'm not afraid of working. And I haven't had a job per se in retirement, but I love to be busy to build things. And that's why I'm doing YouTube. And YouTube is starting to be good to me right now because I am working hard, I'm consistent, and people are loving what I'm putting out there. And I am so grateful to all of you who watch my videos. The response has been enormously positive. You do have a few people who would make a comment here and there, but you know what? I remove it because I don't want any of that negativity in my aura. We don't want that. Okay. So if you're going to come with negative, it's going to be removed. And it does not affect me personally. I just want you to know. So we need to create more income. It is time for you to take an inventory of your skill set and open your eyes and not be totally against doing something to supplement your income in the event that something happens to your Social Security. Because I don't know, I cannot tell you it won't happen, and I cannot tell you for sure it will. I'm just saying, listening to the noise, it is a possibility. That's what I'm saying. And also, learn to live within your means, right? Maybe lower the tone a little bit. You don't have to go out 4 times a week. You may want to get a different apartment that is a little bit more cost effective. All right. So that is the financial part that you need to think about, right? Getting a side hustle, try to get some extra money, downsize, live within your means, supplement your income in any way you can. Okay? If you're in the US, do some babysitting or something, right? People do hair, they do eyelashes and stuff. I don't do any of that. So I have to find out what I'm good at, which is talking. Talking and creating. I'm more into that. Oh, and cooking, of course. But there's never a lot of money in cooking, so I like to just give food away. But okay. The other thing you need to consider, those are action steps. Look at your financial situation. Number 2, your location. Okay. I love Panama. But if the situation comes to a point where it's unsafe, or I'm okay shifting. And I know it's going to come to a surprise to some of you, but it shouldn't. No one should be stuck, in a situation where you're like, this is the only place I can be. Excuse me. The power of shifting. This is something that I think is so important. You could say, oh my God, I just spent all this money and all this time. I get it, sis. I just got fined $1,000. I could have used that $1,000 for something else, but it happened. And I'm like, thank God I was able to do it, and I'm moving on. So if I need to move from here to there because of circumstances, I am okay. And I'm asking you to start to open your mind to the possibility that if something was brewing that was going to threaten your safety, that you're okay shifting. So that's why I think coming up, I'm going to be doing a roundtable with some ladies in different parts of the world. And we're going to talk about the process of relocating to different points, because every place, continent, country has different requirements, and we need to know. And of course, there is a lot of information out there. I'm telling you, information overload. Yesterday, Stephanie Perry was talking about Playa del Carmen in Mexico as a great place for single Black women to retire to. I've never been to Mexico, but I'm just not a beach person like that. So Playa del Carmen, I think it's a beach area. So, it may not work for me, but it might work for somebody else. Okay. So you need to be able and comfortable shifting. That's why even where I am in Panama, I haven't spent a lot of money decorating, buying this, buying there, because right now I consider myself nomadic. I consider myself a nomad. So if I were to just go, it wouldn't be a problem for me because I am not tied to stuff wherever I am. And I'm not going to do that anywhere I go, because I have to be able to shift. Remember that word, shifting. Don't get stuck in one place, one idea. That's this day and age, in this world we live in, we have to be able to shift and shift quickly. So keep your eyes open for when I do I haven't chosen a date yet to have that roundtable, however we want to call it, with the different women in different areas of the world, pretty much, so that you can say, oh, that might work for me. Oh, that might work for me. You're not going to lose yourself in the process. You still have your must-haves. But sometimes the situation calls for you to be a little bit more flexible. You may not be able to find everything. Not every country is like Panama, the sun and the food. You may not get all that in another country. And hopefully you'll be okay with that. Okay? So we looked at different countries, and I'm not going to mention the list now because there's another group that we had a little get together, and we're going to research some countries, but there are also other countries we need to consider. I mean, we're going to go there, but because of circumstances, you may have to open your mind and be more open. Okay? The other thing too, number 3, I want you to always consider what is your strong why. Remember, first is your financial situation. The second one is your location to be open and shifting. And then number 3 is always don't lose your essence as to why you chose to retire outside of your home country. My why, I've shared that with you a lot. My why is my retirement place where I want to end up. Now, I might drop dead tomorrow. It's like, then it's a moot point. It's like, yeah, Maggie, you don't have to worry about it anymore. The other day I was talking to God, and I'm like, why don't you just kind of, when I'm going to sleep and I'm comfortable, I'm fresh, I'm good. That would be a good time, But he didn't. He said, no, not yet. So I'm stuck here and I have to make the best of it, right? Okay, so I'm talking to you. Your strongest why. My why has always been I don't want to grow old in the USA, because growing old in the USA as a minority, somebody relatively poor with not a lot of resources, is not fun. And even the people with money, I've seen them struggle with people stealing from them. There's no consistency, the care. It's growing old is scary. It is scary. So my why has always been to find a place where I can grow old with the least amount of difficulty, having people available that I can hire to care for me, to maybe lift me up, turn me so I don't have lots of bed sores, stuff like that. Give me something to eat, something real simple. Doesn't have to be, I don't need to be at the Riviera. I don't need to be in a resort, a pool. I don't need all that. Just somebody who cares can help take care of me until the Lord decides to take me. That's my why. What is your why? Why did you move away? And I think once you constantly reframe in your mind your strongest why, then the financial and the location, it's going to make sense. You're going to tie those three together to make the best decision for you. Okay? Remember the factors that influence people moving to a different place, right? Cost of living, cost of healthcare, the presence of expat community, how the locals see you, how they relate to you, food, climate, language. Where do those things rank for you? My why is up here. Language is not up here for me. Okay? But the expat community is important. You don't want to be a pioneer. You don't want to go to a place like Stephanie was saying yesterday. You don't want to go somewhere where you're by yourself. You don't have anybody you can call if you have a problem. Language could be a big deal if you're not willing, or if it's not easy for you to learn a language, or at least the basis to say you needed help. Healthcare. There is a video I just saw about a sister, her experience with the healthcare in Panama, and she's just raving how wonderful it is. And Panama is great in that area. But maybe there are other things that would make me change my mind that are stronger than healthcare. Be aware, sis. Don't be oblivious and don't panic, but put yourself in the best position to shift if needed. I have big words like create an environment, know thyself. I have a lot of slogans and words, but the newest one is shift. The ability to shift, shifting. Don't get stuck, right? Okay. And also for me, another one is, how do you feel about the place that you might have to shift to? It's important to me. If the vibrations are not there, I'm not doing it. Just like I say, I'm not flying a small plane. I only fly Boeings, but I'm not going to go to a place that without visiting, first of all. And when I visit, I have to feel that connection. All right. So we're not going to do a long video today. I'm going to stop right now. But remember what I said. The landscape is creating an environment of uncertainty and discomfort and fear in a lot of people. But we, as the retired group, definitely, I'm not going to say we're going to feel it the most, no, but we are going to feel it if what's being, the rumbling and what's being said, you see the news and you're on social media like I am, what's being said and all the shenanigans going on. Oh my God, it's like, woo. But don't say I'm protected over here. It's not going to affect me because you're not in the privileged group. Probably if you're watching me, I don't know. But make sure you assess your situation, your financial situation. Take steps to put yourself in the least vulnerable position from a financial standpoint in case things happen to your Social Security. Make sure you're supplementing your income with something, somewhere, somehow. Reduce your expenses, supplement to put yourself in the best financial situation to withstand. And it could be that after a while things change again, but you got to move with the change, right? You can't stay stuck. Life is dynamic and you have to be aware and be able to move with it. Okay? And then we talked about location, shifting, possibility. Again, research so that you have options. Some of us are already looking and inquiring. And you know, the need to have the second passport is greater than ever nowadays. All right. Now, when we do the forum, we're probably going to go into more details. So look for that announcement, but it's important. And then thirdly, I said, make sure you revisit your why you moved away, why you decided to retire abroad. And you know my why, I share that with you almost in every video, and that has not changed. That will not change because the older I get, the more important it is to me to be in a place where I can make it happen seamlessly in the easiest way possible. Okay? So I've been doing a lot of research, looking at different things. You know, I don't need to share too many details right now, but this was a conversation. Oh my God, again, I did it. I did not ask you to like, share, subscribe. Now I have gotten so many, not so many subscribers, but so many comments from my last video. People have felt so bad for me about me being fined $1,000 for that, just forgetting to get that stamp. Yes, I still feel it's unfair, but you know what? It's over and done with. I always say it's just money. It's just money. So thank you so much for loving me and being so kind to me. And you know, I make you laugh. I make myself laugh because if we don't, we're going to cry, aren't we? And I'm not the agent of gloom and doom, but I'm a very realistic, objective thinking person. And I want you to work towards being like that. You don't want to panic, but you don't want to be oblivious. You want to be in the middle. Because, you know, I'm a centered kind of person. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. You know, I'm never going to do videos for you. I don't do skincare, hair. I don't do any of that. But I'm going to make you think about some things and just we're going to laugh together. And sometimes we cry together. I cried when I had to pay $1,000, but it was like 2 tears, wiped it off and keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's not that long, but it's not that short either. God loves you. I love you. Au revoir, à la prochaine. Bonne journée. Bye bye.